You've all heard about those river cruises that end up becoming bus tours because of low or high river levels. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened to Jason aboard Riverside Mozart. But instead of letting the trip unravel, Riverside Luxury Cruises did everything they could to make the experience feel like a luxury vacation anyway.
Instead of boarding Mozart in Budapest, my journey began with a hotel stay and a motorcoach ride to meet the vessel farther down the Danube in Vienna. On the abbreviated cruise, I came away with a much better understanding of what really matters when Mother Nature has other plans.
So, did this interrupted river cruise turn into a vacation disaster, or did Riverside actually manage to save it?
Well, once on board, I sure found a distinct luxury riverboat. You're watching Jason and Heidi's Popular Cruising, and our full review of the trip and vessel. In Budapest, I was shocked to discover a Danube with hardly any ships alongside, but pleased to be welcomed at the W Hotel.
Why is it that you always get the nicest 5-star shoreside rooms whenever I'm not with you?
It's a fair question because this one sure was stylish and super comfortable. And it definitely set the tone for Riverside Luxury Cruises, proving it's a brand that stands by its name. And I sure appreciated the chance to sleep here, shower here, and dine here with every bit already taken care of financially, extending to included room service with goulash soup, and still a full schedule of complimentary programming. And even a full breakfast buffet spread the next morning. Yes, the W treated us all very nicely, so we never felt stranded, and attentive Riverside personnel oversaw every step of the way.
Including this cute teddy bear co-pilot in your first bus, which had working high-speed Wi-Fi as well. As a reminder of the horrors of the Holocaust, paying respects to the solemn shoe statues came first, as did hydration in the heat.
It sure was toasty and hungry in August, but I was happy to finally visit the famed Parliament building for a tour that was originally on my agenda, so I never really missed anything along the way. I had seen it previously many times from the outside and always appreciated its grand architecture, but this was my first time stepping inside. And boy howdy is it impressive. From its multiple vaulted side corridors to the grand staircase at the central entrance.
Because it's where the Hungarian Holy Crown is displayed and guarded, the Great Dome Hall is the only place where you cannot take photos or video. But visitors are permitted to record inside the chamber where government business is still conducted to this day.
And quite interesting is a relic of failed communism that once adorned the building's roof, especially juxtaposed against playful mini statues around the city like this one of Kermit the Frog.
That is before getting a taste of the town's sweet strudel. Oh, let me guess, you saw this split flap display and were instantly reminded of how you want one for our own house, right?
That is most correct, but for the time being it was the pastry making that held my attention, that I happily sampled and washed down with an orange Fanta, before yet another contrast of brutalist architecture stood out like a sore thumb, next to the beautiful cathedral. And after having already eaten our dessert, we were treated to even more hearty goulash prior to departing. As we crossed over the Danube, I knew it wouldn't be the last of the river we would see, but admittedly it did take about 4 hours in a bus to eventually make it to Riverside Mozart, driving past fields of sunflowers and wind turbines alike. And then we finally made it and were warmly greeted by the riverboat staff in a lovely show of luxury crew dedication. And it was another very pleasant surprise to have been upgraded into a penthouse suite upon checking in.
Again, I say nicest rooms whenever I'm not with you.
If only your work allowed you to travel as often as I and our teddy bear friends do, my love.
In either case, behold a glorious 334 square feet of luxurious suite space.
Still sporting the ship's original Crystal Cruises luggage mat, I must point out. And thankfully having electrical outlets, albeit European style only, and USB charging ports at both nightstands. While perusing the vanity and minibar area, I'm happy to report that Riverside has every intention of carrying Crystal's torch forward, and they make no apologies for doing so.
And why should they, given how marvelous all of this hardware was initially established, including even more useful USB ports and outlets, and premium binoculars to use while on board.
As a luxury product, it's nice to see room service as an option, which is usually not found on most other riverboats, not to mention also great butler service. So when you're ready to book, we recommend doing so through our sponsor, Fairy Godmother Travel, who will magically take care of all your trip planning absolutely for free. To get your complimentary quote, just click the link right here, or follow the website, phone number, or email address below.
And it just so happens that on the back of the bedroom facing vanity is a whole other one on the opposite side, conveniently across from the closet, with branded bonuses in between and a collection of brochures to pick out your next cruise while also selecting your wardrobe in the sizable walk-in closet, including hanging sections for both occupants, a safe, additional shelves, and more drawers.
And we haven't even made it to the bathroom yet, which amused me whenever I entered because the Toto washlet toilet seat automatically raised up upon every entry. And similarly impressive to me was the Hansgrohe AirPower shower head.
You do indeed love a premium rain shower head, and a larger than average enclosure at that.
Just keep in mind that bar soap is not provided, only body wash. So be sure to bring your own if you're like me and prefer the other.
Oh man, and you even had a full bathtub complete with bath salts?
That, and a marvelous amount of hanging hooks to go around in the bathroom and bedroom. Even if I had been in a 215 square foot Riverside Suite as I was previously assigned, the space would have been quite nice, but it is a bit of a misnomer to call it a suite if you ask me.
Or of course, you could have gone even bigger, as the 667 square foot Mozart Suite is another option with much more living space to go around, and it can be made bigger still by opening to an adjacent room, thus making it an 883 square foot owner's suite. As it is, this is the only configuration with a bed that faces the windows to enjoy passing views and has a much larger closet as well. And no doubt the bathroom is the most palatial onboard to match, in addition to the previously viewed extra half bath off the separate living and dining room.
But now let's start exploring the riverboats public venues level by level, starting on the top deck 4, where the sun deck itself is found. As usual, we'll point out which spaces are included in the cost of the cruise and which, if any, are extra, with this one and its shaded and sunny loungers being complimentary to everyone, as are its fleet of regular bicycles. Central to the sun deck is the Vista Bar and Grill, with the bar portion being extra for those without an all-inclusive package, and the grill section being included for all guests. I got a kick out of meeting one bartender who even dates back, as do I, to sailing on board the original Crystal Harmony ocean ship years ago, and I always love a whimsical touch like these garden gnomes dotting the skylights nearby. However, during my short 4-night turn 3-night sailing, the barbecue and its big green eggs were never in play. And although it's nice to see an included rooftop garden element, the extreme European heat had all but torched most of the plants. Nonetheless, the ship overall is a beauty, and everything else is in tip-top shape, like lower on deck 3, where there's an additional included outdoor sitting area that was much more pleasant in the shade, and it was the perfect spot to observe all the operational goings-on at the bow, such as gathering all the ropes and retrieving the anchor. Very unique to Mozart, and not seen on any other riverboat, double wide or otherwise, is its full wraparound promenade deck. Not even the similarly double wide and newer built Ama Magna can claim this.
Speaking of Ama Waterway's double wide equivalent, it's really the only other riverboat remotely like Mozart, but there are more luxurious things that stand out on Riverside. Not the least of which is the grander Palm Court Lounge positioned all the way forward to take advantage of passing scenery.
Due again to the heat and proximity to other riverboats while docked, some of the curtains were drawn, but you can still easily see how this is the perfect place to be on board for indoor observation purposes, as well as some entertainment and enrichment activities, like a talented house pianist for relaxing instrumental background tunes, or on one night an underappreciated saxophone set, but nearly in the dark and difficult to film in such low lighting. Better attended, though, were seminars such as an apple strudel making class presented by the riverboat's pastry chef. The education was nice, but surely some of the attraction was the fact that a tasting immediately followed. One oddity on board is the smoky hallway off the lounge leading to its bathrooms, which I appreciate for exhibiting even more premium Axor bath fixtures that were also found at the W. But the reason the hallway is smoky is the Connoisseurs Club on the opposite side, included for cigar smoking, but extra for any unbundled beverages. I'm glad said hallway contains any spilling of fumes, but I'd much rather this be a smoke-free lounge exclusively for whiskey connoisseurs instead. But at least all drinks are still served next door, along with delightful popcorn, I might add, from the maker on hand at the Cove Piano Bar, where the popcorn is free and the music is included and only drinks outside of packages cost extra. All in all, it's really just an extension of the Palm Court, which is curiously lacking any palm trees, but still calls back to the Crystal days, with a fully stocked bar to lubricate patrons.
Taking advantage of the vessel's larger size is the first of many dining venues on Mozart. The handsome Atelier is the former bistro, but still serves included snacks throughout the day before becoming a partially upcharged dinner spot at night. Besides ice creams and sorbets, cheeses, pastries, and other morning and midday nibbles can be found here. And to finally make Riverside's inclusions and extras more clear, let's take a quick look at the available packages. With or without excursions, the two tiers are essentially full board or premium all-inclusive. The former bundling in all meals except Atelier dinners, room service during restaurant hours, port and service charges, Wi-Fi, and more. And the latter expanding to premium beverages, Atelier dinner, 24-hour room service, mini bar, and more. As for Atelier meals in the evening, regional flavors are showcased starting with an amuse-bouche and bread service, which my husband loved for its caramelized butter. From a hearty Hungarian soup to multiple courses of shareable appetizers, there's a very large selection to choose from, including a Slovakian goat cheese cream, which would be right up my alley, a Viennese-style beef tartare, which I would skip for being raw, and even blood sausage croquettes, which I may try but Jason at least loved. He was especially taken by the unique intermezzo of paprika ice cream with chocolate popping candy to cleanse his palate. And although a less soupy variety, he again went for the delicious regional goulash for his entree, as well as the creamy mushroom dish, which was his favorite of the night. Plus, dessert automatically comes as a trio of Austrian and Salzburger delights to sample. Altogether, Jason considered the meal a triumph for a riverboat to present.
And we've really just begun exploring everything on board as we next head to the upper atrium, which is really another relaxing lounge, perfect for social gathering or reading a book below the skylights we saw previously, or even checking out Riverside's shoreside sister brand, hotels and resorts known as the Seaside Collection. The main always included restaurant on Mozart is Waterside, a sizable venue for being available to the whole complement of passengers, which is a surprising few for a vessel of its scale. In fact, the maximum guest count is only 162, catered to by 82 crew, making for a remarkable 1.98 per guest staff ratio. And this dining venue is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, including excellent morning omelets, smoothies, pastries, etc., from the equally sizable array of buffet stations in the morning and midday, with a wide variety of foods to sate any appetite. From refreshing salads and fresh fruits, to multiple cheeses and warm and chilled desserts. But the real shining star is full-service dinner in the evening, starting with a bread service of focaccia and others accompanied by gourmet whipped butter. My starter of an arugula salad was particularly satisfying, thanks to 2 ham-wrapped breadsticks. And I had to try one of Riverside's signature pastas, like this toothsome scallop and lemon cream dish, all before a tasty entree of Hungarian pig, prepared 2 ways, as a tenderloin and as pork belly. And while I sadly missed getting an ice cream from the bistro, I made up for it here with a complex chocolate sundae.
The only dining experience Jason did not have an opportunity to try on Mozart was the vintage room, which is always extra cost for its specialty wine-paired dinners amounting to a chef's table experience. But he did have a chance to join one of the line's uniquely Riverside excursions to visit Gobelsburg Castle and its remarkable cellars. Not only did he and others along for the ride see traditional bottles and giant aging barrels, but also very unique mold, of all things, encrusted bottles in the cellar's archive, as well as a Star Wars-like trench run of sparkling wine leading to an artistic depiction of our Lord and Savior on the cross. All part of a very peaceful underground setting in the service of winemaking that my husband would soon sample in the castle above. While he definitely enjoyed the vintages themselves, he was particularly fond of the exclusive tour for including a lovely live musical accompaniment, including some of his favorite film scores among the numbers.
But back on board, there was still some more dining to enjoy like that at Blue, found at the stern of Deck 3. This bonus included casual eatery was open for lunch one day on my sailing to order some delicious comfort foods, all fully served up from a convenient counter. One curiosity, however, is that the venue is only accessible from the outer Promenade Deck and not any air-conditioned corridor. Nonetheless, I still greatly enjoyed my beverage selections of both a Nutella banana milkshake and a lavender lemonade, to wash down a traditional pretzel to start, And then a massive 2-patty signature smash burger with caramelized onions and cheese, but not blue despite its name. Returning to the main part of the riverboat where it was cooler, let's next descend from the upper atrium to Deck 2's lower atrium and reception desk. I must say I was very impressed by the service on board, from both my butler and crew overall, carrying attentive crystal hospitality into the Riverside era. Taking advantage of the vessel's extraordinary width are also 2 side wings here, with the first containing a lovely library nook. For those looking to peruse a selection of books included during the sailing and cozy furnishings no less. Or on the other side is the similarly included pantry, where guests can grab a quick pastry snack, as well as complimentary coffee, tea, and boxed waters from the fridge. I also loved how easy it was to stock up on these waters from the spa as well, which was nearby my suite for loading up my own mini fridge throughout the day. Another feature guests appreciate is the complimentary self-service laundry. Riverside is one of the few lines to offer such washers and dryers.
But who wants to do laundry on vacation? Instead, the public venue I would most relish is the full-sized Fehi Spa and Salon, which is extra for paid treatments but included for all its other restful facilities. That is, if you want a massage or haircut, you'll have to spend more, but not to take a dip in the indoor jacuzzi and pool, both of which are simply sublime and certainly not often found on most riverboats. The pool even has a high-power jet that can be turned on should you wish to swim against the current, or rather just leisurely float. And just in front is a unique relaxation area serving in part as a secondary observation lounge overlooking the very front of the ship. If you're an all-around proud cruise nerd like Jason is, you too would handhold your smartphone for 30 minutes straight to capture a time-lapse showcasing a typical riverboat shuffle. Because of limited docking locations, riverboats often have to double or triple up at a single mooring spot, and then when one leaves and another arrives, they have to reposition in order to accommodate every vessel. As you've now had the privilege of witnessing before another therapeutic soak. Also on hand at the spa is an aforementioned bonus refrigerator of boxed waters, bonus infused water, and tea, as well as men's and women's changing rooms, the latter of which my husband was shown into while empty to capture, since the men's had some elements out of service. But here, both the inviting dry sauna and steam room were currently functioning, before enjoying one last pass through the co-ed thermal suite area.
Last but not least is Deck 1, and its fitness center immediately below the spa. Again included are its 2 side sections encompassing free weights, other lifting machines, and exercise balance balls, while an opposite room presents even more equipment. All in all, it would be an understatement to say Riverside more than made up for the low river levels that were entirely out of the line's control. If anything, I only wish I had more time on board, and can't wait to return on another one of the brand's vessels.
Which brings us to our final pros and cons. What we disliked as pains in the aft are Mozart suites having European outlets and not US ones, nor soap bars, the strange exterior-only access to dine at Blue, and the very unnecessary, especially these days, cigar lounge. But what we most liked and can take a bow are the riverboat's marvelous private suites overall, exceptional butler and crew service, and outstanding onboard dining and spa offerings. Thanks so much for watching. If you would, as it really does help support us, please like this video with a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and why not watch some of our other ones while you're at it?